previous class, I discussed about the occupational disease, and today is the continuation class of the same topic. Now I am discussing the occupational cancers. Cancer occur on those sites where the action of carcinogens is constant, more intense and prolonged. They appear after prolonged exposure for about 10 to 15 years. They can also occur after cessation of exposure. It is more among male than in females. The localization of tumor is remarkably constant in any one occupation. The incidence of cancer due to occupation is much earlier than that for cancer in general. Maintenance of high standard of personal hygiene is very important in prevention of cancers. Next, coming to the occupational hazards of agriculture workers. Occupational health in agriculture sector is new concept. You may be belong to rural area where you might have seen a lot of accidents and multitude of health problem which is actually forgotten. The agriculture worker is exposed to following health hazards. First one is zoonotic disease like anthrax, brucellosis, leptospirosis, tetanus, etc. Next is accidents. Insect and snake bite are additional problem in India. Next, coming to the toxic hazards from fertilizer and insecticide. Next, coming to the physical hazards from temperature, humidity, solar radiation, etc. And lastly, the respiratory disease from coconut fiber, tea, tobacco, cotton, etc. And the lung disease are specifically called as farmer's lung. So these are the occupational hazards for agriculture worker. Next, coming to the occupational dermatitis. These include dermatitis, eczema, folliculitis, urticarial ulcers, and even cancer of the skin. The agent factors for the occupational dermatitis are physical agent like heat radiation, chemical agent like acid, alkalis, dye, solvent, grease, tar, pitch, etc. Thirdly is biological agent like virus, bacteria, fungi and certain parasite. Next, coming to the plant product such as leaves, fruit, flower, vegetable, etc. Lastly, the sensitizing agents, and these agents act as allergen such as photo-developing material, formalin, insecticide, etc. Next, coming to the preventive measures to combat the occupational hazards. There are three types of preventive measures: primary prevention, secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention. So primary prevention include the pre-placement examination which is performed for the each worker before they join the job. Next, coming to the secondary prevention, early diagnosis is done by periodic examination including laboratory investigation and radiological examination. And thirdly, tertiary prevention. This include the disability limitation and rehabilitation which is already previously discussed. Next, coming to the legislative measures. In India, there are laws which have been framed to address the welfare of industrial worker. The laws are the Indian Factories Act 1948, Family Pension and Deposit Linked Insurance Fund Act, thirdly Mines Act, fourthly Tea Plantation Act, fifthly Minimum Age Act 1948, Maternity Benefit Act, Labours Act, Industrial Dispute Act, Employees Provident Fund Act 1952 and Employees State Insurance Act. Other than that, the benefits to employees are medical benefit, sickness benefit, maternity benefit, disability benefit, dependence benefit, funeral expenses, rehabilitation allowance, etc. So here I am completing the whole topic occupational health and occupational disease which is related to the ergonomics. So please follow my next class. Thank you.